All right. Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, all honor, all glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rakakwadash. All right. Double honors to the apostles, elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to you, Akim, pushing work in truth and sincerity. All right. Coming back at you with another lesson. All right. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai, Lord willing, this is edifying. Okay. And pretty much this morning, I just want to touch on various topics, right before, we go to work. All right. Kind of want to just touch on some things I was looking into this morning. Well, just stumbled upon, so I'm going to name this one various topics and more evil to come. All right. As we can see, there's a divide and there's many dividing lines in America. It's not just a race thing. All right. They're divided over politics. Okay. These people are divided. All right. Over religion. Okay. So on and so forth. But this is all, a result of the Lord's will. Okay. And it might seem confusing, just trying to understand, everything that's happening. All right. And really, all right, if you're locked in the spirit, okay, you understand that this, and you should know that this is all happening towards a greater purpose. All right. This here, just shows you how, thick the divide is. All right. Among other things, there's other things to be considered as well, but, through the spirit, I'm just touching on this. So Trump's border czar threatens the arrest of California officials, including Newsom, over immigration interference. All right. Because we know as of late, supposedly rioting in Cali right now. You got ICE troops is, rounding up the Northern Kingdom. All right. And for the most part, you can't tell me, this is, just a preview of Jacob's trouble. Okay. Because there's more to come, because this devil is moving at a fast pace. All right. He's destabilizing, society while everybody is distracted. Okay. You had Elon Musk, somehow he's able to influence policy. All right. I guess he cut international agency for aid or something like that. And that's going to, kind of cut up the humanitarian spending. All right. Or cut humanitarian spending. And these Edomites are using it as a talking point to point the finger at another Edomite. The whole time, they're with the whole agenda. All right. And yeah, so it's more evil, it's more confusion, but it's all part of the Lord's will. So President Trump's appointed border czar, all right, Slakin, issued a stark warning to California officials amid escalating tensions over immigration enforcement in Los Angeles. In an interview with NBC News, all right, Hammond declared that immigration and customs enforcement operations would continue every day in the city despite widespread protests, and hinted that even elected officials like California Governor Gavin Newsom and Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass could face arrest if they interfere with federal agents. All right. Yep. All right. Esau ain't playing. Okay. And all I can say from this, is as of now, one thing is going to lead to the next. Okay. Yeah, they're going after the Northern Kingdom now. All right. But Esau, his plans don't stop there. Okay. His plans won't stop there. So this is trouble. A lot of the Northern Kingdom are in straits right now. Okay. Because, their livelihood is being threatened, and they're being threatened to be casted out or, taken from the country. All right. Okay. So, yeah, it's sparking outrage. It's sparking divisions among, in politics, among people. All right. And this is what these people ask for. They ask for a greater America. And guess what? You're going to get a greater America, quote unquote, because, all right, what the elite are doing, all right, is giving you the illusion that they're making things better for the sake of, the patriot or the homegrown, Edomite. All right. But in reality, they're taking rights away from you. And this is going to lead into a more of tyranny. All right. More oppressive measures. Okay. So and read a little bit more. It says protesters clash with law enforcement surrounding federal agents and vehicles in response to ICE raids targeting undocumented immigrants. All right, videos capture tense scenes with some protests escalating to the point of tear gas deployment and arrests. The Los Angeles Police Department reported 11 arrests on Saturday night for failure to disperse. Despite the pushback, Hammond emphasized that ICE would not relent. I'm telling you what, we're going to keep enforcing law every day in LA. He said, I don't care if they like it or not, you see. And that's Esau. Okay. And that he's the cruel, Donald Trump is, you could say he's the cruel Lord. All right. That's being placed here. Let's see here. Look at that. And Donald Trump warns we are going to have troops everywhere. All right. After ICE protests, you see, so they're only going to bring in more troops. Okay. All right. And guess what? One thing is going to lead to the next. Okay. Those troops might not leave. So, because really what they want to do is employ that martial law. Okay. So, you live in a police state. Okay. So here, this is Isaiah 19. I'll get straight to the point. All right. 19:4, it says the Egyptians, which this is spiritual Egypt. So you Egyptians is equivalent to Americans. All right. It's a similar to for you Americans. Okay. It says, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, said the Lord of hosts. All right. And guess what? You got your cruel Lord. All right. And that's Donald T. Trump. All right. Because a lot of people are saying, a lot of people response to this. All right. Is that of the talking point of this thing, this is cruel. This is all right. This is pretty much evil. Okay. And I thought this was interesting, really quick. Just tidbit information. This is the commentary. This is David Guzik, and for Isaiah 19, the burden against Egypt, which we know is similar to because what we live in a spiritual Egypt. All right. And Revelations points to that great city being spiritually Sodom and Egypt. So Revelations 11:8, and their dead bodies. Whose dead bodies? The Israelites. And when you really go into it, that's a similar to for them being in a fallen state, falling from their, falling from their, sovereignty, inheritance, so on and so forth. So it says, shall lie in the street of the great city. And that great city is America. Okay. Because there's no other city in the world, which America is a city. Okay. When you really go into it. But there's no other country like America in the world. It says, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. Okay. So here I just wanted to point this out. David Guzik, he says here, the burden against Egypt, God strikes Egypt, all right? And in this case, America. Okay, Isaiah 19:1, it says, the Lord strikes Egypt by giving them over to civil war and submission to a cruel master, all right? And that's taking place right now as we speak. This society is on the brink of civil war, okay? And there's many dividing lines, not just among, race, which is going to play a big or a major role in how, society is going to be broken up. Okay. But even with all of that, you still got an economic woes. All right. But guess what? The Lord has put the spirit on this man. All right. To bring in more straits. And it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse, man. All right. So here, let's do this. All right. And not to mention here, I wanted to point this out too. Like I said, this is various topics. So I just wanted to touch on a few things before I head into work right now. But even amidst all of that, all right, this is what this devil is doing. All right. As far as his devices. All right. So you got that. And then I just want to point or get this point that this man says here. Let's see. All right. So really quick. Okay. And I'm going to have to close the video after this. I normally don't like making videos too short, but on the back end of everything, all right, Esau is, he's trying to reach that godlike position, all right, or put himself as God. So check this out.
The curtain of AI, not some hidden quasi-divine consciousness. These people didn't develop AI to try to help humanity. These people think that humanity is a problem. So they created AI to try to help solve the problem that they think humanity is.
Right. And so here, because I did this earlier. Okay. Because this guy, Elon Musk, cut. What did I ask? What can be the result of Elon Musk cutting International Agency for Development? All right. And of course, Edomites are using this as a talking point to point the finger, But we know how Esau gets down. All right. So, but the point is, it coincides with what this man Shahid just said. All right. So here, they're using AI to bring, basically take the world out in a more efficient manner. All right. So if Elon Musk were in a position of political power and chose to cut funding to U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, or a similar international development agency, the effects could be significant both globally and domestically. Here's a breakdown of potential results. Okay. Which I believe they did cut And let me just see if I can find an article on it. So, as Doge really say, so yeah, so they did cut USAID, right? White House asked Congress to codify Doge cuts to U.S. aid in public broadcasting. So, but what we're really seeing is that the more this devil starts to progress in his this enterprise of his, the more the world is in trouble. All right, and just more evil that the world has to deal with. That's why he has to be taken out of power. All right, and hey, this is the Lord's doing. He's giving power and giving power. All right, to that red horse. All right, which is Esau. But let's go back. So global consequences reduce humanitarian aid. All right, and this is what everybody's crying about, or somewhat making it seem that they're crying about. All right, these politicians and congressmen. Right, it says emergency food, health, and disaster relief efforts would be scaled back, affecting vulnerable populations in crisis zones. Example given: Africa, the Middle East, and parts of Asia. All right, which is not the Middle East. All right, is Western Asia. Okay. It says countries recovering, all right, from war, famine, or natural disasters could see slower recovery. Right, and the scriptures tell you that the unsown, cities are going to be unsown. All right, meaning there's going to be they're going to be desolate. Okay, and Esau, all he's bringing is war. Okay, it says destabilized regions, cutting development aid may weaken allies and fragile governments. See, so they're going to weaken their relationships with their allies. All right, as well. That's going to be a result of it as well. Okay, so it ain't going to just weaken their allies, but it's going to weaken the relationship between these allies, and those allies are going to turn to their enemies. All right, it says in fragile governments creating vacuums that extremist groups or rival powers, example given, China, Russia could exploit. Oh, well, I said it beforehand, but yeah, it says weaken U.S. soft power. All right, aid is a major tool for diplomacy. Reducing it could lower the U.S.'s global influence and make it harder to form international coalitions or win support in institutions like the UN. And they're already at odds with the UN. Okay, so this is just going to make things more turbulent. And we knew from the scriptures that the prophecy said that Babylon would be hated, the whore would be hated. All right, and this is grounds for that. So increased migration pressures. Without development aid, poverty and instability could rise in poor countries, pushing more poor people to migrate illegally to the U.S. or Europe. So, but you're seeing what they're doing now with immigration. All right, they're shutting down. You can forget about crossing over the borders. And guess what you think? Guess what they're gonna use to maintain borders. All right, and to maintain a lockdown state is technology. All right, surveillance, mass surveillance, checkpoints, and all of that type of stuff. A complete and utter police state. All right, well, detainment and is going to be a regular thing, especially if you ain't got papers, or if you can't prove your personhood. All right, and it's definitely going to come down to that, that digital ID. So I gotta leave in a little bit, but I want to finish playing this guy, right? Finish playing him, all right? So Salaki too.
People think that humanity is a problem. So they created AI to try to help solve the problem that they think humanity is. And they're going to use AI to justify their tyranny, again, just like the church did in Europe. It's going to be deployed to automate inequality and oppression.
You heard that? And that's exactly what it's doing. He ain't making it up. Do you see those? They use the AI, all right? And the trope is, or the illusion is, for more efficient and for a better future, all right? We're saving money, all right? But they just cut aid to, starving countries, weak governments, all right? Okay? Even now, is being used, okay, in more ways than one. And it's being used without people being, not being aware of it, okay? So, yeah, man, Shalaki, because I'm going to have to cut it in a sec.
By denying, for example, welfare through algorithms, maximizing profit through labor suppression on gig platforms, enforcing ideological orthodoxy through AI-driven, algorithmic-driven, content moderation and so on. It's greedy little antisocial tech nerds wearing inflatable god costumes.
Yeah.
Let's be clear, the real danger isn't in the code, it's in the class of people who control the code, who do the programming. The danger is in the false belief that the system is neutral. And that
Right. And there's this thing where they're talking about AI taking over as if it has a mind of its own. And that's the thing that this guy, Shahid, was bringing out. It's not a sentient being. It doesn't think. It don't have emotions. Everything that they using this AI for is, all right. Well, how can I say it? They set the parameters. They set it up to really collect data. All right. And they're able to use that data any way they see fit, okay, to make their new world more efficient, all right? And then you'll understand, really, when you go into that Revelations 13:15, and then he had life to give power to the image of the beast, all right? This is that, okay?
that it's smarter than us, that it deserves our trust, even though the owners and the creators of this have proven time and time again that they're not worthy of our trust. The AI priesthood wants to replace power accountability with technical inevitability. So the only rational thing for you to do is to submit. That's what they want you to think. That's complete rubbish. Mm-hmm. They want you to believe that they don't control what's coming.
Yeah, see, and that's the thing. They controlling everything that's coming, especially from this, all right? They get to control AI, all right? So it ain't, again, the scripture say, and it gave life unto the image, okay, of the beast, that it shall both speak and call that as many that would not worship the image should be killed. All right, so, yeah, man, so it's, you got that talking point out there where they saying, AI is, it has a mind of its own, and that's just not true, man. That's not true, But hey, Lord willing, this was edifying. Just wanted to, kind of touch on those few things this morning. All right. And Lord willing, man, hopefully, we'll be back tonight, man, with another lesson. All right. Shalom.